something we all need. Gotta have it now if you wanna succeed. Striving, surviving, that's no doubt. Sticking together, we gon' find a way out. So all you young people, give it your. So all you young people, give it your. So all you young people, give it your. So all you young people, give it your.
Good evening, the back community. As always, thank you for staying involved. Thank you for staying engaged. Tonight's guest that we have for you is going to be Coach Tria Green of Patria Speaks. But she's also going to be telling us more about her life as a business and lifestyles coach, as well as the Patria Speaks podcast, because she stays booked and busy. Okay. So first things first, man, I just want to say thank you for affording me your time this evening, Tria. I really look forward to diving into your story.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. Well, listen, for those who may not know, I know you're going to go further into the story, but Coach Tria is also a fellow podcaster like myself. So I always like to collab with other podcasters when I do get a chance, and I always stay tuned into what other people are doing as well, because I like to be a fan. I like to learn from what other people are doing as well. So I definitely became a fan of yours after watching mutual friends that we have in common being guests on your show. And I am adamant about staying in tune to what you're doing with the Busy and Book series. But before I go too far down there, man, I just want to say thank you for being on. But I want to give you the opportunity to tell the back community, because I'm sure some of the people in my audience might not know who you are, and they should know who you are. So here's my first official question. That's right.
Well, if you didn't know, I am originally from Albany, New York. I now reside in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been here 15 years. January made 15 years here in Atlanta. So I still have my New York card. Y'all better go ahead with all of that. I'm still born and raised in Albany, New York. However, I started the podcast in 2019. I started the Booked and Busy series last year to support other entrepreneurs in their business. A lot of things that I've started up in my life was basically the journey of Patria Speaks, Coach Tria. The podcast is a segment of my self-love, self-care journey, as well as business and lifestyle coaching. But in 2019, I decided to walk fully with God, and that's where God introduced me to what my purpose was, and that's serving people and encouraging people and motivating people. So I've always been a motivator all throughout my life. Being the oldest child of 4, the product of a wife and a husband, I've always been that. I call it the dummy child, the child that goes through everything, the test dummy child, pretty much. But also the supporter, the prayer warrior, the glue that keeps the family together. But in 2019, God decided that I needed time for me and him to commune and converse. And in that period of time, I discovered who I truly was. So the podcast came about in 2019, just me having my walk with God and encouraging myself. I was like, you know what? I know there's other people on this journey as well. In 2014, I lost my brother 7 years ago. So, and it was due to mental health. So mental health is really, really big to me. So with me being a podcaster, I do focus on the anchor side. See, there's 2 segments of podcasting. A lot of people think that, when he on Instagram, it was just the Booked and Busy series. Well, no, that is just a segment of the podcast. The self-love, self-care journey is actually on an anchor outlet where you listen to me and encouraging you through those times where you feel overwhelmed, where I felt overwhelmed in times, and I may have not had anybody. So I just created that so I can be an advocate for myself and other people as well. Not the Booked and Busy, but the business and lifestyle coaching came with the segment of being a motivational speaker. serving people through their purpose, helping them to find out what purpose is and then turning it into profit, because God will use your purpose to carry all aspects in your life. It will provide for you. So that is how the business and lifestyle coaching came all of that about. But I do have a virtual assistant business. That was like my baby in between the motivational speaking and business and lifestyle coaching. I wanted to serve you and your business. So whatever you needed me to fill in the spot on administrative side, I am still willing, willing to assist you in your business where you need a helping hand. So everything comes together. The Coach Tria, the podcast, the virtual assisting, all of it sinks into purpose and serving you. So that's how it all came about.
Okay, listen. You didn't hold no punches, huh? She said, I'm gonna put it all up there up front. But you said several things that I don't want to overlook. So first things first, sorry about the passing of your brother 7 years ago. And mental health is also something that's near and dear to me as well. So I don't want to overlook that. I also lost my oldest brother as well. And, mental health is very, very important. So I'm glad that you have that platform on Anchor as well, where you're diving into that. Because if we didn't learn anything through the pandemic that we've been under now, is that mental health is something that is very, very fragile, even for the strongest of strong people. So, and it's normal. And I think a lot of times we don't talk about it. I think we talk about it more so now than we've ever talked about it, because it's always been those taboo topics. You don't talk about therapy. You don't talk about finance. You don't talk about what's going wrong. You only talk about right. But now it's just like, hey, listen, I'm freeing myself up to show you the good, the bad, the ugly,
and the ugly. Exactly. Now I'm extremely happy for those who actually, like, this year, 2022, really is the year of self. And I'm so happy that people are really tapping into their spiritual journey, their financial journey, their emotional journey, all of those tanks that need to be filled. Because I say that emotional, spiritual, financial, all of those are tanks that actually need to be filled. And a lot of us take from one tank and try to fill the other tank, constantly trying to fill. But if we get to a level where we can get evenly on all four of those tanks, we'll be bomb. We'll be the bomb. It won't take us out. So I do stress to my clients that let's find out where you are in your tanks, because we are no longer going to be filling from one tank to try to fill the other tank. Let's try to focus on one at a time, but let's try to focus on filling those things up. I like to do a lot of me going out there on live, not just you seeing the Patria or the old Patria, I would say, but me working out, me saying a word to you and motivating you. I felt this journey of me working out and getting in tune with myself. I was like, you know what? I know there's probably some people struggling with getting up in the morning and creating that healthy boundary, that routine. I just want to be an example to the community that I am a normal person. I am a normal Black woman, but I also go through things, but there's ways of us elevating ourselves. I'm here for you just like you're here for me. Let's motivate each other. So a lot of with the podcast, it opened up so much. As a podcaster, you try to, you want to stay on one topic, you want to hit one audience, but then it's just like this thing where it takes you, I could dip in here and like go forth and elevate people on that end, with their business, with their personal, with, being a sister, being a woman who lost a sibling, being a woman who has no children, being an auntie to 5 nephews. I could speak a lot of stories to motivate others. So I just say, you know what, all of these hats that I wear, I just want to keep it be as transparent as possible, because some people feel like they're alone in this thing, and you're not alone. You're not. you're not alone. You are not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, creating these spaces are one, with the way that technology is, it makes it really user friendly, and it makes it a lot more accessible for us to be able to create these types of spaces. And there's so many people that are trying to tap in to somebody else who's sharing the same feelings, who's going through similar experiences. So, I always tell people, they're like, well, yeah, there's a lot of people that are in the podcasting, but there's space and room for everybody.
Everybody to get your word out there.
Everybody's saying something different. For me, I ask the same questions to all my interviewees for the most part. Of course, some of it changes based upon what industry you're in and what kind of field of work that you do. But all of my questions are the same. The cool part is that I can ask you the same question as I might ask Josh, who I just interviewed, or somebody else. I'm going to get something different out of it because all of our walks of life are totally different. And the beauty of touching all of these different topics, like mental health is important to you, fitness is important to you. Shout out to Tamara, shout out to my man Alfie. I know we're doing something collaborative as well about promoting, healthy living, working out. But yeah, it's important. And I'm just thankful that, you're taking advantage of all of these different opportunities to take your life and your experiences to help inspire other individuals to go ahead and do it. And I think it's really, really important to have a person like yourself to tap into and to help them to navigate what that next season of life is going to look like for them.
For sure. Thank you so much. I do appreciate that. And I respect your podcast because this is a platform where we can get out what we do. Because a lot of times people don't know, because I live in a whole nother state. Yep. If I don't post it on Facebook, if I don't post it on Instagram, people will never know unless I go out there face to face. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's other ways of getting the word out there, not just Instagram, not just Facebook. Show up on a podcast, go to conferences, things like that to promote your business. So I definitely thank you for this lane also to support the community of people of purpose. It's all about purpose. Yep. If everybody thinks about it, it's all about your unique purpose and what God ordained you to do. And, it's just a walk of life. That's what it is. Everybody is made to serve people in a different way and in a different light. One of my mentors said to me when I was getting really discouraged one time, she said, because I would say, why don't people support me? Why is it that some people have more, followers or views? And people don't say, oh, I'm not into follows and views. Yes, you are when you have a business. You're really wondering, is people really listening? Not that you're, super, super down, but it does go through your mind if someone is watching your content, if somebody is supporting your business. That is something in you that you will question. However, how I stopped worrying about people and how they support me, she said to me, Patria, everyone is designed to a certain group of people. Everybody is aligned with a certain group of people. So Tyrell's group of people may not be your group of people that you need to speak to, but Patria's group of people are assigned to her. They understand your language. They understand your transparency, your lingo. So for those out there who may be discouraged about support, understand that you are designed for a certain group of people to serve and to teach. To serve and to teach. I tell my clients all the time, in your group of people who you encounter with, that you say that's my associate or my friend, there should be teachers and there should be students. You should be always elevating yourself in your circle, and you should be able to teach someone as well in your circle.
I love it. Mm-hmm. And what you just said, and I know you said this is all about purpose. So what you're saying aligns exactly with what the message my pastor gave out yesterday, right? And he was talking about Martha and Mary, right? And he was saying that they both were serving. Anywho, he was talking about how you have works and then you have the word, and then the word is always more important than the works, but you need both the word and works. And he was saying, Martha had asked him, you just like, well, listen, he was just like, well, Jesus, aren't you going to make Mary come over here to help me in the kitchen to serve and prepare or whatever? And Jesus had to explain to her that, instead of focusing in pretty much on what Mary's doing, just realize you got your own ministry. Your ministry is to prepare food and to serve in this capacity. Mary's ministry in this particular purpose is to focus on the word, right? And so many times we end up focusing in on what other people have and how they have this or what we don't have, instead of realizing God has already prepared us with what it is that we need to serve our purpose.
Exactly.
And, I mean, it's a word called synergy. The sum of the whole is greater than any individual parts. So it's not just about you having to do everything. If you do your one part and do it successfully, do it well, it will align with every other person who's doing their one part and doing it well. And when it comes together, then we have a collective whole doing it well.
Right. And me being in church, and one thing the pastor used to say is that we all build up in one in the body of Christ. We all have things to do in the body of Christ. We all don't have the same job, but we all are here for one thing, and that's to serve the people and serve God. So yeah, for sure. I mean, I love it. I'm going to be honest with you, in this time of becoming and elevating, I pray for people to speak the same language, to be aligned with people who know exactly what I'm talking about. Because there was time when it's in you, it's in you. I mean, you could go back to, I see you constantly go back to your posts from 5 years ago and 10 years ago, and how you were speaking things and how things are coming back full circle. And I say that right now in this moment, I can say 5 years ago, I can go to a post from 5 years ago where I was crying out to God and saying, God, align me with those who speak the language, who understand, that can elevate me and I can elevate those. So this podcast, this moment right now is the glory of God and what he really is truly doing. So everything that happens in my life now is confirmation. It comes back full circle. So I say this to encourage those. Keep going, keep moving, thinking in that positive light, because it's going to come back to you full circle. Everything comes back full circle. I promise you it does. It's kind of like you feel like you're living, you'll be like, yo, that's deja vu. Like I'm telling you, this moment is just amazing. It definitely is amazing.
Okay. Well, let me see, man. I also want to go here. I know you've been in ATL for the last 15 years. I do know you have your roots there in Albany. And one of the reasons why I did this podcast was to highlight individuals still living within the Capital District and those who have moved on, because it is a smaller area, but a lot of people don't realize we got a lot of dope and dynamic people. So
exactly.
What part of the Capital District did you grow up in when you were still in the Capital District?
Well, let me tell you. So I am, I'm up in downtown. So I can't, half of my life, because I left when I was 21. So when growing up, I went to Hackett. Sorry, y'all. I went to Hackett. All my cousins, look, all my cousins went to Livingston. They be like, whack it. I'll be like, come on now. But when I graduated from middle school, we lived uptown, right? All my cousins are from uptown. Every last one of them are from uptown. So I came in as though everybody was like, I'm already in because I got family. So you come up to, okay. So they really didn't know. They pretty much thought I was from out of town because they never seen me downtown. So yeah, so I'm like a mixture. I mean, I'm Albany straight up. So yeah, that's where I grew up. But I went to Hackett. I mean, you could call, I'm from downtown. I'm from downtown, from uptown, crosstown, wherever you see me, I'm out here. So it don't even matter.
Hey, listen, I like your flavor, neighbor. I like your flavor. Yeah. to Hackett too. Even when I was living uptown on Clinton Ave, then I moved downtown. But I've always been affiliated with uptown. But
right.
but I like to say I had a unique experience because I was literally able to mesh and have close friends downtown, crosstown, out north, uptown, and that's really hard to navigate, especially as a young man, because most times everyone's just pulling you to be aligned here, and then that's just your alliance.
Right.
And with some of my boys from uptown, be like, listen, yeah, I can mess with everybody else. Don't mess with this person, and that person.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I always used to find myself in battles all of the time like that. But I
had a when you speak of battle, I had a internal battle, not really knowing my identity. So that played a part before 2019. Because I was placed in I would hang out with certain people, and it was like you were placed in a group. And you're just thinking like, oh, I'm just hanging out and having fun. Now it's you're with that group of people. And I'm like, well, I got homegirls that live downtown too. So I'm with them. And then everybody's like, well, I thought you was with them. I'm like, listen, I'm a diverse person. I'm not into the cliques, but that's how it was at home, where you were placed in cliques and really didn't know you was placed in a clique. But that kind of affected me until I got to Atlanta. I went to Atlanta when I was 17 for one school year. And that's when I had got a little hint of what Georgia was like. But I also got a hint of who I was, because I actually have a voice and I actually speak. So a lot of people from home are like, girl, you talk a lot. You didn't talk that much when you was in New York. And I'm like, I know. But I had an identity crisis. I didn't know who I was as Patria Green. I was the cool chick. Like, oh, we can hang, but she's quiet. But she's also a rock wild, and don't ruffle her feathers, because the quiet ones you got to be careful with, But I was labeled sometimes as a mean girl, and I'm not a mean girl. You know what I'm saying? So I had to really break that barrier coming back the first time from Atlanta, where I had to let people know I'm not a mean girl. Never was, never will. I wasn't raised that way. I actually was raised in a close-knit family. Everybody is family. You're my family. You're my family. You're my family. So the love is different from just having, I didn't know what friends were when I was growing up. We were always family. So that also played a part of me growing up, because I had to determine what's the difference between a friend and a family member. I'm treating everybody like family. So I had a serious identity crisis. And so I just got fed up. 2019, I said, God, I know sometimes when I walk into rooms, people see this light. I don't see the light. God, I need to see what you see in me. I need to see what other people are seeing. Am I a mean girl or am I not a mean girl? But I know I got something in me. I get a thrill out of people, successful people. I get a thrill out of people being blessed. But I come from certain area, coming from Albany, is that sometimes when people see other people elevating, it may cause confliction or confusion. Some people get a little jealous. Some people get motivated. But I've seen at home sometimes where we were all still growing up still. Now we're all grown, but it became conflict of this person can't have more than you. So a lot of times I would shy away from wanting to have more, because I'm like, I don't want to be in that type of life, But I will say, now, as being a 36-year-old woman, I will represent Albany to the death of me. You know what I'm saying? Because I wouldn't know who I was if I didn't go through suffering. Right. See, a lot of people don't understand that when you find your purpose, it's through suffering. You have to suffer through something in order for God for you to understand what God has created you for. So if I didn't go through that identity crisis, I would never find out what my purpose was, who I was. I would have never went towards God. I would have just been like, okay, I'm here, I'm cute, I'm pretty, and that's it. But not really finding out what I'm truly here for. So I had to go through that. So everything I go in life, I say, thank you, Lord. I don't regret anything I went through in my life.
Absolutely. And that's a beautiful way of looking at it. You know, say, you know, looking at life in hindsight, of course, you know, it'll give you a greater perspective. But sometimes as we're going through it in real time, it's like, this is the worst thing that ever could possibly through.
Right.
Ruin is over. I don't know how I'm gonna bounce back from this. But, you know, I mean, if you stay patient, you know, me personally, I always ask God for two things. I ask for patience and endurance.
Yes.
Yeah, you give me those two things, you know, I'll be able to withstand whatever it is that's coming my way at that particular point in time. You know, and, you know, give myself patience and grace to allow it to mature me, to grow me, and for me to mature and grow other people around me. But I like that.
Sure. For sure.
But you also said something earlier too, which made me, I was going to ask you this question later, but I'm going to give it to you right now. Because you're doing so much, Tria. So, you know, you have the virtual assistants. I was going to ask you one, are they in the Philippines?
And that's what really, I'm gonna be honest. There was a guy at my church, and he had he was doing a credit class, but he also has a call center, and he was explaining to me that he set up a call center in the Philippines, and I was like, and paying them, I ain't even gonna tell you how much they pay them, but he actually had his tech go out there, fly out there, and set up an actual call center. And that was like, and also my 9 to 5, I just recently resigned from to be a full-time entrepreneur. So he was doing that, and I was like, I do administrative work already. So it kind of already played a part for me to do it. And then him, it was just the encouragement. But yeah, I found a guy, he got a call center out in the Philippines, and he paying them to none, baby.
Yeah, I definitely know a few who are utilizing that. But the reason why I was going to say it was that earlier you talked about the virtual assistant. I know you got the podcast. You have what you're doing on Anchor with mental health. You just made the transition to be a full-time entrepreneur. My question is, how do you find a balance between work and life?
So definitely I feed myself, my personal self now. Before it was work, and not spending time with Patria. My walk with God definitely comes before anything. I find peace in it, and he gives me order. So me just focusing on my personal first before work, and that helps me to balance out everything else. When I become overwhelmed, I say, Patria, it's time to take a step back, or I'll take a break for a minute, step away, and put everything in a schedule. This is Tuesday, we're going to handle this and strictly that. Wednesday, we're going to do this and we're going to handle strictly that. So I created a routine for myself to be able to touch every single thing. But it's very important for me to feed my soul, feed my emotion and spiritual side, because he helps me with the order. I will say this. January 27th, I decided to walk away from a job I was with for 7 years. 7 years. I've been working since the age of 14. So to quit a job and say, hey, I'm going to work full-time entrepreneur was very scary, super scary. Before the pandemic, I said, I want to leave, but I don't want to leave. I want to leave. I don't want to leave. I went up and down with it. I had a mental breakdown in 2019 as well. And from being so overwhelmed, because work, listen, not only work, my personal work or my personal life, I also was the person in my family who's the prayer warrior, who plays a position in this family that has to hold what you would say the glue that holds the family together. I played a part. So my brother died in 2014. From 2014 all the way to 2019, I had to play the strong person, not only for my mom, not only for my dad, but my siblings, his children. All of that played a part. So I held on as long as I could, until I actually had a breakdown. And I didn't know I was having a breakdown. So I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so overwhelmed. So that's when I just ran to God and was like, look, I don't know what to do anymore. I can't be strong no more. Like, I am literally breaking. The devil was on my back so strong. He was sit with me on the couch and had me just crying and crying and crying. So one day I said, I know my God is good. So what I'm about to do is turn this phone off. And every time I would start crying, I would run to that prayer closet and I would read a scripture until I stopped crying and come back out. He had tried again. I went back to the prayer closet, started praying again. And that's how I beat the depression. But he also said to me is that I needed therapy. God said, I ordained people to speak into you and speak life into you. So you can also go to my people that I have ordained for you to get you right. Because even though we go to church and we pray and things like that, but God also gives us examples of other people to help us with this pain and this depression that we go through. We're not alone. Like I said in the beginning, we are not alone on this journey. Rather, it is with your purpose, your mental health, your financial. It's just that we got to be the person to say, I want help. I need help. So that's what it was. That's how I got into therapy. So yeah, therapy plays a big part in my life. Thank you for therapy, because what would we do without therapy?
Listen, thank you for therapy. I still regularly therapy. Like I said, once again, that was one of those taboo topics that most people didn't talk about. I remember when I was first telling my dad that I go to therapy. He was just like, "What do you go to therapy for?" I was
right. Like, ain't nothing wrong with you.
Yeah. I go to therapy for me. And, several things that you said, I definitely identify with. Putting too much on yourself is definitely setting yourself up for a breakdown. I know I had in 2009, when I first realized I have anxiety. Right, I was just getting ready to and there was so much going on there, and I'm working, I'm running my mentoring program, I'm studying the LSAT for law school. It was just so much going on, and it was just like, my body ended up telling me, enough was enough, sit like butt down. And at the time, I had never been sick. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was causing it. I was in the hospital. It seems like every other day, it was like, something happened. I'm dying. But, but you end up, like you said, when you ask for help, you receive help. I was able to get some great advice on how to manage the anxiety. One was to step back from trying to do everything and everything for everybody and everything for yourself. Stay in your own lane. So that's why when we were talking about earlier at the top of the show, we talking about the importance of mental health. Every person is dealing with something. It looks different in each one of us, but you're never going to get the tools, the resources that you need by not identifying and trying to keep it to yourself. And listen, I tell anybody about my journey, and they be like, listen, yo, I know what that is, or I have to deal with that. I'll be like, this is it. Talk about it. Bring it to the forefront, and you'll realize that you'll be better for it as a result. Out instead of trying to hold it all in and be like, I can't tell anybody this. No, you can. Now, if you choose to, if you choose not to, that's on you too. So, but no, bring it out.
I will say this: every suffering or moment of suffering that I went through in my life brought out some piece of me. So to say, Patria, you got the virtual assistant, you got the podcast, you got the business and lifestyle coaching. each one of those pulled, I had suffered in some sort of area. So it pulled out something beautiful. My brand is called Personal with Purpose. So those are just the podcast, is the marketing side. The virtual assisting is serving a person individually. The business coaching is teaching and coaching side. So the brand itself is personal person. All those are just the branches of it. But everything that I'm doing is caused of somewhat of a suffering I had in my life. And God pulled something out of it and it made something truly beautiful. So that's why when you ask me, Patria, what do you want to call yourself? Patria Speaks, Patria Green, or Coach Tria? I'm all of those. That's all of me. So just pick one. That's it.
Okay, who's that? Why am I drawing a blank? I can't sing. Let me try that. Yeah. Let me see, man. One of the things I always like to tap into as well is, obviously, you've made different transitions for yourself throughout your life. And now where you are today, I always like to go back to ask, what is something you would have told the younger version of Patria Green? So if you had the opportunity to go back into that younger version of yourself who had that identity crisis going on, figuring out who I was in this particular place, what is something, knowing what you know now, what would you have told the younger version of Coach Tria?
Be patient. Be patient. And another thing I would say, that you are worthy. Everything that you desire, it will happen with patience. It's going to happen. But faith without works is dead. That's what I would say. Walk into your purpose and do it gracefully. I got a lot to say to that young Patria. I promise you I do. I can write another book on Patria. What would you say to the younger self? Well, let's have a conversation, girl, because we got to talk about it. But yeah, that's what I would say to my younger self is be patient. You are worthy, and faith without works is dead, and walk in your purpose. That is what it is. True. Okay.
And actually, I know you just touched on, you can write books about it. And I think that you have, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Books. Tell us more about the process of creating your very own ebooks and where we find them as well.
The struggle is real, y'all. When I tell you writing a book, because I'm a writer, but I'm not a writer. I'm a person who writes in her journal, and I was taught to write in my journal by my therapist of how I feel and things like that. I wrote back in the day of things that may have occurred in my life back then, but I never really focused on writing. But that was another way of me generating a way to get the word out instead of me just speaking all the time. So it started off of me talking about my transition. It's called the transition from corporate to entrepreneur. So I have a book that's probably about 100 and something pages, but I had to reduce it to an ebook where it's instructional. So the transition actually will assist people to find out what their purpose is and the signs that you may see and how to step out on faith. So the transition corporate to entrepreneur is steps on taking that leap of faith, which I had to go through in my life from working in corporate for almost 15 years. From that time on to being a full-time entrepreneur, and how, God was talking to me to say, go ahead and take that leap. My next book I wrote, and it came out at the same time. I was sitting on the couch and it said, go ahead and just write. So I started writing, and then I put it all together. But the second book is Boss, Get Out Your Feelings and Get in Your Bag. So this is an instruction of you 5 ways to make your business profitable and marketable. And it's just really you talking to yourself and pushing yourself out there to promote your own business, not so much focused on people not supporting you. is you taking that step for yourself, for your business. How do you want your business to what do you want your business to look like? How do you promote your business? What outlets can you get yourself? Get out of your head and get on live. You know, a lot of times with my clients, they be like, Patria, I don't see how you just get on live. I said, I'm nervous as heck to get on live. I promise you. I'll be like, oh, I can't wait till this thing is over with. I'm just da-da-da-da-da. But it came with consistency. Now me talking to you feels like a normal conversation. The cameras is everywhere, but I'm looking straight at Ty and we just talking. But if I didn't take the step to say, hey, get online and press that button, I would never know how this interview would feel. I would never been able to walk into it. So the book is just helping you to show up for yourself more. If you show up for yourself more, your business will be marketable. Your business will be profitable because you got to show up. So it's just steps on taking those steps to make it marketable and profitable. Yeah.
Okay. And how do we find these 2 ebooks?
Right now, you can find them on Linktree, and that link sends you to a link to go ahead and purchase the book. But I also have my website, which is pwpvirtualassistance.net. You can find that book on there, as well as the link for one-on-one coaching. So you can visit the website. But if you go to Linktree, which is linktr.ee/Coach Tria, click that link. You'll see the books there. You'll see the one-on-one coaching. And then also I got into helping people apply for their LLC. That is in New York, Georgia, and I got New York, Georgia, and there's another state that I also help with as well. Alabama, I'm sorry. So Alabama, New York, and Georgia, I will help you to apply for your LLC. I'm going to get into a lot of more trainings this year, group trainings on learning about the LLC, because a lot of us may have applied for it and don't know that this is the steps on how to maintain the LLC. So I'm taking a lot of classes on that right now, but the podcast is coming back for the Booked and Busy series. It's going to be called The Transition. So we're going to be talking to people who are transitioning from one area. They could have been a single mom and now they're a wife. That's a totally different transition. They could have been married and now they're divorced. That's a transition. Or they could be like me, transitioning from corporate to a full-time entrepreneur. So it's just you talking about the things that you've been through, because a lot of people are going through transitions, especially through the pandemic. Transitioning from being a person who didn't focus on self, but now they're in their self-love journey and they want to talk about it. So the series for March Madness is coming up. It's going to be called The Transition. So we're going to have some good people on there. I'm hoping to get that started real soon. I'll give you the dates and everything.
Okay. Good. Well, I'm wishing you nothing but success on those end events. 2 of the things that you said, one was with business entity creation. I know my wife does a lot of that as well. So when you were talking about forming LLCs and stuff like that, it made me think about her and what she's doing. But then also as a transition, I know you said the name of it is Transitions, but it made me think about Charlene Ridley, who I just interviewed as well, and she's also a transition and life coach. And I just bought her book too. It's somewhere around here. But yeah, anywho, so you are absolutely right when you say that there's a ton of people in this space who needs help, services, and someone to help map things out for them. There is a coach for almost everyone out there, and you got to be willing enough to allow yourself to be coachable. I always tell people, you don't have to have all of the skills that somebody else may have, but if you remain coachable, you can learn anything and everything that everybody else has. Stay humble, stay coachable. Stay humble and stay coachable.
Exactly. That's the word. That's the word, right? For sure.
I'm going to ask you this because success looks differently for everybody. How do you define success? How do you define success? If you were to define success for you, Patria.
For me, success is seeing somebody else successful, me helping them to succeed. I think that's why I'm into the business and lifestyle coaching, is because I get a thrill out of people being blessed. I honestly do. I don't know why it excites me this much, but that is success, is to put everybody on, as many people as I can put on. And I'm not just saying for you to be rich, but to create legacy. It's legacy. A lot of us think of it just being having the money. Money runs out. We can't take it with us, but this legacy of creating legacy for not just your children, but your children's children, like people say, that is success for me, to be allowed to serve another individual to get to that level of legacy, not just success.
I like that. You know, so it's still purposeful. What is it? A purposeful driven life. A lot of what you're doing is create your level of success is creating success for other individuals. And I think it's much harder, because there was something I read years ago that said, you know, it's easy to create success for ourselves. It's very difficult to duplicate that success for other individuals. You know what I mean? Because motivation and inspiration is totally different, but it's definitely a ministry helping other individuals to navigate that path.
And one of the difficulties with business and lifestyle coaching, sometimes you want it more than others. I had to sort that out. That's where, and we had to ask a question about, in this, was one of the difficulties in your business, it's doing more for the individual than they want for themselves. So now I come to this point in my business and say, I can't do, if you don't come to me, I can't come to you. You got to want it more than I want it for you. Because I want it for you. I come in the door wanting it for you. But you can't come in here and expect that it's always going to be handed to you without the work. You got to put in the work. And then in this industry, some people want handouts. They don't want to put in the work. They want the popcorn blessing. They don't want to do the work. But it become for a coach, and I say this to those who are looking for a coach, you got to do the work. We can't do the work for you. You got to want it more for yourself than Patria, your coach. So that was, I would create all of this stuff and get so excited, and the person is like, well, I can't, I'm not, all these excuses. And I'm like, but you just came to me like months in advance and said, I want this, Patria. I want your help. I want to do this. And you get to the point and you created all of this stuff, and then they just throw it to the wayside, or they don't have the enthusiasm. So then I said this, you don't need business coaching. You need lifestyle coaching. Because where in your area you feel overwhelmed, that is deterring you from wanting to be your best in your business. Now we have to flip it, because when you quit on yourself, this becomes a personal thing now. This is no longer business. And I say this to any business person. You have to be right with self. You have to be disciplined in certain areas, because if you can't focus so much on the business and not feed yourself, or feed yourself so much that you can't feed your business, it has to be a balance somewhere. So I always say, create a schedule. I don't want you to post 20 million things and then you tell me down the line, well, my husband said I can't do this no more because I've been focusing so much on the business. Well, no, you got to create a personal work-life balance too, you know? So it's just, sometimes that's the difficulty of being a business lifestyle coach. You want it more than the actual person. I can say to you, the successfulness of this business is me seeing other people grow. But at the end of the day, that person has to want it. Yes. I can't be truly fulfilled if you don't want it. I promise you. And I'm gonna go hard for my fulfillment. So if you don't want it, I gotta move on to the next person that actually wants it. So I'm going to fulfill my purpose, honey. I see you when I see you. Get back at me. What's she doing?
I'm gonna do my part. You better do yours.
Right.
Let me see. I got about 2 more questions for you because I know you booked and busy, so I ain't gonna hold you up too much longer. One of my favorite questions I asked everybody from season 1 was, what is your favorite place to visit in Albany or the Capital District area, and why?
My favorite place to visit? Well, for me, because I've been gone for so long, it's visiting family. Yeah.
I'm off right now. Family is what comes normal. So
I know, but I don't really go
different places. Even 15 years removed, living in ATL, there's got to be a something that stands out to you about the hometown that just makes you smile when you're there or you see it.
Well, I'm thinking, where is it? It's when I go home, I be wanting food.
Did you hear what I just said? I said, Kenneth's. Is it Ted's? What is it?
It's a beef patty. They don't have that musty smell beef patty with the cheese, and you might throw a slap of the pepperoni on. Like, they don't have that. That too, and I don't know. It really is. I'm gonna be honest with you, it really is family. Like, I literally go visit family or friends, but also just to be in the zone of everybody and see everybody, people I didn't see for years, friends, stuff like that. Walking down the street and somebody see you and be like, "Yo, I ain't see you in so long, Patria." That is the enjoyment for me. So there's just being home. Period. Just being home.
No, that is something I can definitely identify with, because, but it's just, I think I just found a new spot that's going to be my favorite spot there. I'm there still pretty often, but I always like that because it tells me a lot about who you are. You know what I mean? Like, what makes you happy? What makes you feel like you're in your element? So that was why it's one of my favorite questions to find out where to hang out, in the Capital area. But
look, I played it safe.
Yeah, I see.
I played it safe.
You can't go wrong with that one.
Right.
Yeah, let me see. What about your life's path? If you were to summarize your life up until this point, because obviously it gets greater later. So, right. I mean, there's still peaks to get to. But what about your life's path at this point of the transition, at this point of the journey for you, Coach Tria, are you most proud of?
Oh, taking my leap out on faith. Oh, my goodness. I was so scared to leave my 9 to 5. I really was. And it just happened. Just so happened. Super proud of myself because I didn't think I was going to do it. But when the tough got going and the going got tough and they wanted me to do things that was outside of my belief, I said, let me tell you something. God been leading me all this way. He will not leave me behind. So, all of the things that I have went through and God blessed me through that moment, led me up into that faith, just taking a leap and saying, I trust in you, God. And it has been from January 27th to today has been so amazing. Like, I feel so much at peace. I feel like I can be so creative in such a way. He's been providing for me. I worried about the financial side, but I didn't know you've been working since however, Patria, you can take that time out. You can flip it, even if you wanted to do part-time. You can do it. It's the stability part. Like, I love the freedom of being creative and helping. So my leap out on faith, oh my goodness, I can't even tell you. Even the trip to Houston, I linked up with, I went out there with a friend and she has friends out there. And I linked up with them, and we had so much in common. You know, she lost a sibling. She's the oldest child. Her brother took on a child that wasn't his. You know, story of my life, and just a lot of stuff being in a, you know, because my parents been married for 37 years. You know, so with them being married for 37 years, you see the ups and you see the downs. And then you got some people talk about, why is this marriage? And, you know, will you get married? Like, it was just beautiful conversations. It was just a beautiful moment. And to be able to take a visit and go to Houston and enjoy myself, I didn't do no work. I did strictly self. Okay. And I'm able to do that because I was so impatient, worry warped. I don't worry anymore. I just give it to God. I promise you, while I was going shopping, I kept saying, thank you, Lord, for me being able to buy me a shirt without a job and be comfortable with it. You know? So yeah, my faith walk. Definitely. This year I started off beautiful. I got my fitness on. You know, I slacked a little bit during the trip, but but you know, comfortable with who I am, Patria. This is who I am. You know, every tank is being filled, and it's just a beautiful thing.
I love it. I love it because if the tanks are not being filled, ultimately, we can't fill up other people's tanks as well.
Exactly.
And so in your field, to be passionate about what it is that you're doing, to be passionate about life in general, you know what I mean? It's contagious. And,
right.
You know, that people will flock to you. That's why people will come to you, because he's like, well, damn, she's smiling. How is she smiling? I want to smile like that. Please show me how to smile. And, you know, so I am thankful for you walking out on faith, not only for yourself, but for so many other people that I know that your story is going to inspire, and so many other people that your story is going to help. And, you know, it is an ultimate risk, but for those who choose to take it, you know, the rewards are pretty high too. I mean, so, you know, either which way, I wish you continued success moving forward in that direction for you. And everything that comes along with that, with the ebooks, with your virtual assistant business, with Anchor, with everything that you're doing. You know, your story needs to be told. People need to find out about what it is that you're doing and know where to tap into. So when I get done posting everything, I will make sure that your information is directly linked there, because your services are greatly needed. And I know
I would love to link up with your wife to really get a training to assist these people, because a lot of people have been asking me about accounting, taxes and things like that. So I don't have as much knowledge in it because I'm not an accountant and I'm not a tax preparer or anything like that. But I do know people who need that assistance. And that's one thing about me. I will get the information that you need. I want to know as many people. This was the thing about me working at the job that I worked at. My mentor said to me, get to know as many people as you need to know, Patria, because when you do take that step into that next door, there's going to be somebody in there going to say, that face is familiar. I know her name. So walk, and that's how I am with my business now, getting to know as many people as I want, because if I don't have the answer, I know how to get that answer to you. So yeah, for sure.
Networking.
That's right.
Network. Yeah,
let's get it
in. To link the two of you for that one as well. But yeah. First things first, the back community, as always, thank you guys for checking in to this episode podcast. And I really just wanted to thank Coach Tria for giving us her time, her transparency, and helping us to figure out this thing called life, to transition to get to where we need to. Tria, I truly wish you continued success, and that everything that you want to bring to full fruition will be because you are a woman that is aiming to live a purposeful, driven life. You and I this podcast in prayer, and I know that God is going to be with you as you continue to navigate this next transitional phase for you. So thank you for being on the back.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. And you know you got to show up on mine. So just know.
I'm waiting.
I know you're a books and busy man, but you definitely gonna have to show up on mine, okay?
Hey, listen, I will be available. I am easy to get to, and I can't wait to do it because I'm a talker at heart. So
okay,
I look forward to talking about that transition. And I think I'll probably have a lot to say, whether it was on the entrepreneur side or for those who decided to stay at their place of employment too. I've been with the federal government now for 15 years, but I've always done my own projects outside of it, whether it was running my mentoring program for 9 years and now with the Black community. So I look forward to being a guest on transitions and hit me up and pick the brain. So I'll be ready whenever you.
Come on now. All right.
All right. Well, listen, man, thank you again. The Black community. Wait to get this story out to you guys. Coach Tria, you have yourself a wonderful night, man. I'll catch up with you later.
You as well.
All right.
Keep climbing up the ladder. Black lives matter. They matter. So all you young people, give me all. 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 Black lives matter. They matter. Black lives matter.